I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. And I sure do love my job. Yeah. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. And I sure do love my job. Yeah. Yes, I really love my job. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Yes, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Let's get firmly rooted. Firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. Yeshua, 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 Yeshua. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. We're disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. Let's keep firmly rooted. Firmly rooted.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday morning. Pastor Tom Donnelly, Firmly Rooted Ministries, and we are looking at Acts chapter 27. Let's see who's on board here. Pamela C. Good morning. Vivian Davis, good morning. I also have my Firmly Rooted coffee mug, so we're ready to go. Hold on. I've got to tell my nephew that I'll call him later. There we go. All right. Diane Giroux, good morning. Steve Giroux, there you are. Steve Giroux, good morning. Nikki Chason and Emily Connolly, you guys rock. Man, oh man. Painting the hallway. You guys just overwhelmed Kimberly and I. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Andrew. Hello, Andrew. How are you? Bert Reggiani, good morning. Glenn, good morning. Anne Marie, good morning. Karen Thompson, good morning. Your daughter's here, by the way. All right. Maybe she'll do prayers today. Who knows what's going to happen at prayer time? It's either her or Jennifer, maybe both. Who knows how that's going to work? All right. So let's get to something a little bit serious and heavy here. We all know that Paul's doing what God wants him to do. We all know that Paul is from the kingdom of this world experiencing some pretty tough things, but God is kind of moving him forward. And so he has been lied about, lied to, almost killed, rescued by the Romans. So God's using history and he's using the kingdom of this world to get Paul to Rome. Have you ever known what the destination is supposed to be, but question why in the world it's so hard to get there? Why so many roadblocks? Why suffering on the way? If I'm doing your will, then why not a smoother course? He warned them not to go. He warned them not to leave Crete. He told them that they waited too long, and he feared the weather. He feared issues happening, and it's exactly what happens. This storm that they call the Northeaster all of a sudden sweeps around the islands and starts to bash the boat. These seasoned sailors are throwing cargo overboard. They're throwing everything that's not necessary overboard to try to keep that boat buoyant. I'm not sure exactly how they did this, but they began to throw ropes. And my guess is they would start in the front and they'd work their way back, and they would tie ropes around the boat just to try to hold the boat together. I just want you to realize these guys are lost. They don't have anything else that they can do. Tying the boat together so it doesn't. Have you ever been in a situation that it was like suffocating? Why am I going through this trial? Why am I going through this suffering if I'm doing your will? It says that for 3 days, or for many days, the storm was so bad that they neither saw the sun or the moon or the stars. They had no ability to navigate for days. For days. They were just being bounced around in the sea, having no clue where they were going. It says they finally gave up all hope of being saved. They thought they were going to die right there. It's on that day that the Lord tells Paul, you're going to make it. I'm still destined to have you stand before Caesar. You're going to go to Rome. But this trip is going to be disastrous. This boat is going to break apart. You guys are going to end up on an island somewhere. Comforting to know that God is speaking at that moment, that it's not the end, that he's got a plan. I don't know. How many of us would still be sticking in? How many of us would not be just cursing God and saying, you're not fair to me? He's been stoned, shipwrecked, left for dead, flogged for preaching the gospel. But you see, Jesus was too. We're so averse to suffering. We're so averse to facing the storms of life. that we just try to fix everything. We try to medicate everything. We try to do anything other than walk through the valley. But what if we're supposed to walk through a valley sometimes? What if we're supposed to walk through the storm? What if there's something we learn? Something spiritual. If the movie Chosen decides to do the book of Acts, do you know how real this is going to be? Don't just look at it with words. Experience what Paul's been through for the last 2 years, ever since he went to Jerusalem with these gifts, money to support the poor. They tried to kill him. And it's only been one thing after another. But I also want to point out God's faithfulness. When all hope is lost, God shows up. You might say, why didn't you show up earlier? Why didn't you show up before they finally gave up all hope? I don't know why God does some of the things he does. Because I can tell you that I oftentimes have wanted him to move a lot quicker than he has. But the one thing I know, he always moves. And he's always active even when I don't see him. And if he says that you're going to end up in Rome, you're going to end up in Rome. If you know what your destination is, then know what your destination is. But don't expect that just because we're believers in Jesus, we're not going to go through storms. We're not going to go through valleys, that we're not going to go through hell sometimes. But he's with us. This is the lesson. Paul knows that God is with him. And God shows up right when Paul needs him. And tell me if he hasn't done the same for you. All right. I think that's all I have. Nikki, you're welcome. It was our pleasure and honor. Awesome. God has a plan and purpose for everything. It's in the suffering he can use us the most. I think there's a lot of truth there, Emily. God sometimes does his most powerful work in these quiet, dark times. We look at the crucifixion of Jesus and the darkness that fell over Good Friday, and that's when he performed his most powerful act, even beyond creation. He defeated hell itself. Jesus bore eternal death so that we'll never have to. So yes, much can be gained if we suffer through trials and tribulations faithfully, finding Jesus, finding God in the midst of the storm. All right, that's what I have for you. I hope that this devotion was a blessing to you. We're going to see a shipwreck tomorrow, and these guys landing ashore an island called Malta here soon. All right, blessings on your day. Make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.